Cyrano?
Cyrano.
Pleasure to meet you, Cyrano de Bergerac.
You're a freak. Freak.
It's a place where big feelings can live and be celebrated. It's so beautiful and powerful and moving.
Is Cyrano a hero, or is he a coward? His repeated efforts to kind of do the right thing, whatever he thinks that is.
Specifically with Cyrano, it's comically more relevant. It's not like a Hamlet or Macbeth. It's a story of catfishing.
Life is messy and imperfect and complicated, and I think that's really what classical works really encompass.
But the real question you always have to ask is why is this happening now? Why does this need to be seen now?
Cyrano de Bergerac first voiced his verse in Paris, France, just before the 19th century. And here, buried deep within the Howard Washington Library archives in Chicago, Illinois, are remnants of his storytellers, directors, designers, actors, who have all brought Cyrano de Bergerac to life over the past 125 years. His romantics are still being performed, now wooing worldwide ears instead of just Roxanne's. What is Cyrano's story? It's a classic love story, as easy as ABC. A loves B. A is unconfident in their appearance. A speaks through the more attractive C. Okay, maybe not that easy. Cyrano, a smooth-tongued French cadet, falls for the beautiful Roxanne. But self-doubt in his physical appearance leads him to instead share his loving sentiments through the voice of Christian, a handsome military cadet. Christian recites Cyrano's words to court the unknowing Roxanne.
So you've got heartbreak, you've got a tricky choice that you wish you didn't have to understand, and then you've got the ensuing, how is this person going to get out of it?
It's just so tempting because the possibility for disaster is so great. And so it automatically creates this kind of tension in the audience because there's no way, we know that this can't end well, even if we've never seen Cyrano, because it can't end well.
This story just uniquely gets more and more poignant because, everyone on a dating app, everyone talking to anyone on the internet. You say Twitter makes it harder to communicate, these sound bites, but actually it feeds right into why Cyrano's more relevant to Cyrano.
Sure, yeah.
Because we're all sitting there behind screens, interacting with other people behind screens, and so we're all a Cyrano, we're all a Roxanne.
Yeah.
We're all trying to figure out how to position ourselves or how to communicate.
Why are artists still entranced by the trap set by Cyrano's poetry? What sets the spark to return to his story time and time again?
Car 3, confirm? Confirm what?
Confirm my feelings.
How do Cyrano's musings continue to resonate over a century later? Why have many, like Steve Martin and Roxanne, to Marty McFly and Back to the Future, to Kramer and Seinfeld, all decided to reprise and riff off The Large-Nosed Lover?
These story points are just very universal. So this story is weaved into so many other stories, often even unintentionally.
It happens over and over again because I think it's just so handy. The idea that someone could pretend to be somebody else, and then comic hijinks or disaster will ensue.
It's this person who does not see themselves as desirable, and they make tricky choices, and they do some deceit and some distrust, but it comes from a place of sadness at not being able to get the one thing that we're told is the most beautiful thing in the world, which is love, but then we're also told that only this kind of attractive person gets that. In the half of it on Netflix, you get to watch this young queer person who just has never been able to express love in that way, and it's really powerful and it's really honest.
Well, no one asks when you see one of these reconceptualizations, well, why is that character doing that? There's always someone in the social pecking order, where we put it in a high school or they do whatever, that makes you say, oh, okay, we don't blame that person for making that decision initially because we understand why they would do that. These pressures exist all the time.
By now, you know the story. Can you recall Cyrano in a Saturday morning cartoon? Or a date night at the movies? Maybe even a sketch on YouTube? Before YouTube and radio and film and television, there was theater. way before. And all these years later, why does theater still own the scene?
I've always been a little dramatic in acting, and I guess one of my teachers saw that. They were like, Ernaisja, you want to be part of this? And I was like, yeah. I don't really remember, I just know I did it. It was great.
I had these teachers who really helped me quite a bit. I remember they gave me, it wasn't a particularly emotional monologue, it was The Bastard from King John. And I remember one of the teachers just pushed me and pushed me and pushed me.
Theater is the live aspect. It's being right there probably with just, my mind right now is going to the show that I'm in right now where the audience is such a major part, major character. It's that energy, that essence of flow, seeing live. It's live, it's fresh, it's the same script but it's different every night.
I got into it from my mom loved going to the theater and taking us in. And so most of my introduction, I mean, there were some musicals, but it was chiefly the local Chicago theater scene.
It is just very much a part of my family. My mom was an actress throughout her life and then is now a cantor. My father is a playwright and musical theater writer. And then in terms of why I started performing, the escapist element is very exciting, especially as a young queer person and unknowingly as a young trans person.
It was participatory because it actually requires, and I was vaguely aware of this as a kid, but it requires you to, not pull yourself out of it. You have to continually reinvest as the audience member.
It forces you to be full-bodied, full-spirited, full-souled, vulnerable, and open.
Cyrano embodies the magic of theater. It's a tale as old as time, allowing humans of all kinds, of any race, sexuality, and no size, to be interconnected through story. A tale that pop culture is only beginning to conceptualize. The timelessness of theater remains clear. The stage provides a platform for any assumed name. And for thespians acting in costume yet speaking without, turning to fact their fantasies. As he did for Christian de Neuvillette ages ago, Cyrano gives a voice to performers across screen and stage today. Because, well, he's got listeners just as convinced.